All right, today we're talking about communication tips, how to be clear over cute or complicated. So this is one of the things that I talk to so many clients about, so many organizations about, help so many people with when it comes to communicating. If you've been around here for a while, you know I'm obsessed with communication. I have a degree in communication. I have a company that helps leaders, organizations, entrepreneurs, and business owners to really find, own, and use their voice, whether that's in the boardroom, whether that's on stage, whether it's communicating with teams. And so I find myself often having conversations with people around how to be more effective in their communication, whether that be in a one-on-one conversation, giving somebody feedback, or that's giving a presentation to influence a decision within your organization, if that's running a team meeting, or for some people that's, getting in front of groups and speaking about your business and what you do, and maybe it's pitching yourself, all of these different things. We find ourselves in so many different conversations within my firm helping people with their communication. And one of the things that I see and hear the most is, I was actually just on a call with somebody yesterday. We were talking about one of the things she wants to work on is confidence and communication. I always say those are the words I hear a lot. She's in a senior level leadership role, and she struggles with confidence when she's okay with one-on-one, but she struggles with her confidence when she has to present at like a team meeting or get in front of a room and share information. And she's like, I know these people, I can talk to them one-on-one, but it's something about doing it in a group. And also when she needs to share information, and this one I hear a lot, when you are either the doer, or if you're in a leadership role that's really like technical, if you're very analytical, sometimes we can find that people struggle with knowing how to convey information to the right audience. Meaning, if you're presenting information to high-level executives or to the board or to the C-suite, or if you have your own business and you're pitching it for something, like, people don't need all the details. And here's the thing, is I get it. You have all the information. You're the expert in the thing. You know the numbers and the data and why and all the research. And there is a time and place to share that. And there are certain people to share that with. Usually, we need to cater our message to who we're talking to. And so from an organizational standpoint, let's say if you work for an organization and you are presenting this to your boss or their boss's boss or a leadership team, they don't need all the details. They want to know the highlights. They want to know things like let's just give an example of maybe you there was a project that you led, and now you're going to share with them the insights or the data from this. This is actually an example that I've walked through with a coaching client before. And one of the things he struggled with was he would get so far into the weeds and into the details when he was presenting. His slides had so many words on them. He really liked what he was talking about, and so he would get into all the stats. And not only do people's eyes start to get glazed over, but also the leaders can get frustrated because they're like, we don't need to know all of that. And so what can you do? Before going into that type of meeting or that type of conversation, I want you to first of all keep in mind who the audience is. So who is it that you're speaking to? If you are speaking to somebody who needs the data, who needs all of the details for whatever reason, then provide those details. If you're speaking to a leadership team, a board, a C-suite, if you're speaking to, like, really thinking about what level of detail do they need, and if you don't know, you might need to ask, like, how detailed do you want me to get? So really knowing your audience going in. The other thing that you need to do to prep for this is to really think of the end in mind. What is the ultimate goal behind what you want to get out of this? So if it's an update to them on the status, if you're trying to influence them of a decision, if you need an add to staff, or if you're trying to influence someone to buy your service product to bring you in for their event, whatever that might be, really think about what is the ultimate goal that I have in mind, and what are the key things, a few key things that I need to do to help to get to that point, to help influence them, to help inform them. Are you going in to inform, to educate, to influence, to get more information, like really knowing that. So knowing the audience, knowing what the ultimate end goal is that you want out of that meeting, that conversation. Know your point and why does it matter to them. We know it matters to you. hopefully, but why does it matter to them? So really know what is the point you want to hit home and be really clear about that from the beginning. That's why I say clear, not cute or complicated, because we want to have clarity right up front. This is why we're meeting. This is what we want to achieve today. This is what I want to share with you. This is what I want to know from you. And that's going to help not only you be more clear as you're prepping for this thing, but it's also going to help the other people, the other person, to be more prepared as well and to know what you are meeting on. So know your point and why does it matter to them? So why do they care? What's in it for them? What are you trying to teach them, influence them of, educate them on? Like, what is that thing? And also making sure then that you are sharing the appropriate level of information. So again, when we think about the audience, as you're putting together your talk or your presentation, if they need all of the data, find a way to tell a story with the data. If they just need, usually when we're trying to be a little more strategic in our communication, it's going to be things around, this is why we decided to do this. So again, if we go back to that example of maybe you led a project and now you're giving an update on that. Here is like the quick background of this is why we decided to pursue this project. These were some of the challenges that we were looking to solve, maybe high level of like who was involved, some of that introductory data just to get everyone on the same page. Like this is why we were doing this thing. This is what we did. So sharing, this is what we did to try this thing, to pilot this thing. This is a solution that we provide. This is what we found. So what are the things that you found from that? And then it's now, what are we going to do about this? And what are the next steps? So that's just one of the examples. People want to see, like, where were you? What is it that you did? What did you try? What were the results? And what's the ROI? What's the impact? So if you're trying to influence a leadership team or a board, or if you're trying to influence somebody of something, then you really need to know why is this important? Is this going to add, is this going to reduce costs? Is this going to add sales? Is this going to contribute to our team dynamics? Like if you can put numbers and data behind it. So those are just a couple of things that were coming up for mine, because these are conversations that I have all the time. And something that I'll hear from clients is oftentimes we'll do sort of like a role play where if they're getting ready to present or they're getting ready to do something and they'll tell me something and then I will repeat it back to them, usually in like a sentence or two. And they might have been talking for minutes. And they're like, yeah, that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do what you just did, where you just took everything that I said and summarized it in a really clear way. By the way, if this is something you're looking for support with, send us a message. This is what my firm helps support with, whether that's from a one-on-one coaching perspective or a leadership team. If you're looking for development to help people be more clear and concise in their communication, this is one of our specialties. But we hear that a lot. I hear that a lot when I'm talking to people is how can I do that? And the thing is it's a skill that you can develop using some of these tools that I'm sharing with you, is to know who your audience is, to figure out, am I being really clear? What's the end goal that I want to get out of this meeting, this session, whatever that is? Really knowing what level of detail that they need. And if you don't know, getting confirmation from them. Knowing what's my point and why does it matter to them, and coming back to that frequently as you're communicating. And then also really knowing what ultimately am I, what do you want to leave that meeting with then? So if it's like, hey, we need a follow-up from this, you have an ask from that, whatever that thing might look like, and really being clear on that. Because if you're not clear on it, they're not going to be clear on it either. Okay, and in this type of model, you can use this in a lot of different things. Obviously, the technique we use would change if let's just say you're going in to give feedback to one person versus going into a team meeting or giving a presentation to the board, versus if you are a small business owner and you're trying to, get a sale or pitch yourself to speak at an event. There's tweaks and there's minor changes based upon, again, the outcome that you want to get, but you can still follow this process. And so often people want to be cute with all these words and these like fluff words, and people don't need to, usually that creates confusion, right? Or we try and overcomplicate it. And we're trying to show how smart we are and how much we know. But that complication is just making there's this fuzzy, like people don't know, why are we in this meeting, or why are we talking? What do you want to get out of this? We don't want confusion. We don't want complicated, and we don't want cute. We want clear. So I want you to keep this in mind. If you're one of those people who struggles to be really clear in your communication, take this, have this help you. Send me a message. Let me know what stood out for you, what is helpful, what you're going to start doing the next time that you have an opportunity to communicate, and how you can use some of these tips to help you communicate more clear instead of cute and often complicated.